Pokemon fans, I'm Tamashi, and today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Jason Paige, who is famous for recording the very first English-language Pokemon theme song. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Tamashi. I'll be mobile during this interview if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Sure, I don't mind.
All right.
You're not only responsible for recording the first Pokemon theme song, but you also recorded some of the vocals for Viridian City, and it says you're credited with some of the background vocals on the entire TBA Master soundtrack. Is this right?
Yes, Viridian City. I'm not sure if I did backgrounds. I don't know what I'm listed on, but there's, quite a few things that I had to do with back in the day. I don't know about the backgrounds. I think I was just on Viridian City and Pokemon and the theme song. And backgrounds, but just on those two songs. What's the other song that you're saying I sang on?
They said that it was the entire TBA Master soundtrack?
Oh, yeah, I think when they list the background singers, they list them, they don't do it independent of each song. It's just if you sang on that album as a background singer, you're listed.
So we'll get back to the Pokemon thing in a minute. To start off with, how did your singing career start?
I think, the question is, how did everyone else's singing career stop? Everybody sings until they're told to shut up or to stop disturbing the class or to be quiet and go to bed. Before that, everybody is a singer and everybody sings. And the career, I guess, is when somebody throws some money at you and it actually becomes official.
So tell us about some of the things that you did before you worked on Pokemon. I know you sang with some pretty cool people like Aerosmith and Michael Jackson.
That's correct. And I have been, I guess, receiving monetary compensation professionally for my vocal work since probably in straight out of high school, actually. I began my singing as a street performer doing magic, actually. I was doing magic and started to sing on the streets of New York City. And until then, I was just, studying at LaGuardia High School, which is the Fame High School, and my professional career began out of that. Highlights are, the Aerosmith thing, but I've also done quite a few other jingles and voiceovers and backgrounds with all kinds of people, from Alita Adams to Enrique Iglesias to Michael Jackson to other recognizable jingles like Lego Mania. Back in the day. That was when their campaign just sort of opened up. I actually wrote that with a current friend who's actually the keyboard player of Aerosmith. And we engage in all forms of vocal whoring, as I sometimes call it. People buy my voice. Or they abuse my throat, if you know what I mean.
So I read somewhere that you had a rap solo in Michael Jackson's song Black and White. Is that on the album, or is that when you performed it live with him?
That is on the live recordings, on the live Madison Square Garden 30th anniversary special. 2 nights we did that. We did that performance for 2 nights, and they aired an amalgamation of both of those nights on ABC. But yeah, that was just live.
So let's get into what everybody wants to know. How did you get the job on Pokemon?
Through my work as a singer and composer for many jingle houses in New York City. That was one that I had worked for at the time. I think it was called Paradise Music. And they called me in to sing the demos, and I went and sang the demos, and it wound up going, and that's it. I mean, it's just sort of when a jingle house gets an assignment, they have their writers go to work and work up many different versions to present to the clients, and this was the one that they chose.
There were other versions of the Pokemon theme?
Yeah, there were other versions. I didn't hear any other versions or know that there were other. I didn't sing on any of the other demos, but I sang on this one. Actually, in the demo process, there was a lot of fiddling about with the tagline. As you can hear in the song, it goes, "Gotta catch 'em all," and it goes, gotta catch 'em all. And it goes, gotta catch 'em all. And, it was like, I remember at one point doing like 10 or 15 little taglines. Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Different little things at the end until they eventually like, oh, we like that one. Let's do that one. So it's sort of writing, but not really. I mean, it's, just rearranging notes that already existed in different arrangements that still relative to the 12-tone scale. And, music isn't owned by anybody. It's in the air and you just grab it. Just like words. You don't own these words, although there's a big debate about who owns what words on the internet with CISPA and all of those internet regulations and SOPA. Are you up on that?
Yeah, actually, as an internet personality, I have to make sure that everything I upload is copyright content free, and YouTube cracks down on that all the time, so I have to be really, really careful.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and they're getting even more strict, and as if you could own words in the first place. It's bizarre. Unless you make up your own words and then you start using them and then you claim copyright over words that you made up and other people start owning them, and then it's just bizarre. Anyway.
So you didn't actually write the Pokemon theme, but you helped with the arrangement?
Exactly. I believe when I'm in a session, if they don't know exactly what they want, then everybody in the room contributes to the energy and the outcome of the final product. Especially the singer, who's manipulating and changing different inflections and words and lengths of notes. But yes, I would call it. I would actually say that I technically have an input in the writing, not just the arrangement. Although arrangement can take a song farther than writing can oftentimes, and I'm not officially credited with any kind of writing as well, or arranging.
So when you went back to record Viridian City, is it because they liked your work so much on the theme song that they called you back again?
No, they were both done at about the same time. They knew they were making an album, and they decided to make to record those two songs. Another composer who I'd worked with, who actually I did the Legomania with, did the production and writing on Viridian City. So it was in two separate places that we did that.
After you recorded the Pokemon theme, did you ever watch the show or play any of the games?
Yeah, I watched. I watched the episodes every now and then, and I bought a number of game toy devices that had featured the theme song little clips, or the theme song itself was embedded into many of the entertainment and the many different products as well. And I tried to collect all of those, and that included like a room greeter, a watch, a couple of video games. There was even a pinball machine somewhere that I heard of that played it. So I didn't have that, but there were so many different uses that utilized the theme song. I tried to, at least get those and give them as gifts at some point to relatives. As a matter of fact, I remember I went to the Blockbuster video store at the time. Blockbuster was selling these room greeters. They were a little Pikachu or a little Squirtle on the shelf, and every time you walk by, it would go, "Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon," and the people in the Blockbuster store hated them. They had turned them all off, and I went and bought like 3 of them for gifts for people, and they were like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're buying these things. We hate that thing. We hate that song." They hated it. So the strange thing about the theme song gets almost as much hate as it does love.
Do you have a favorite Pokemon?
I would have to say Pikachu, just because I'm not familiar with enough of them to really make a decision, other than the few that I've encountered on products.
Oh, have you done anything since then? Anything we would have heard you in or recognized you in?
Yeah, there's quite a few things that I've done that are at least common in this country. There's a number of things that are in other countries as well, but probably one of the most familiar jingles is the "When you get nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Pepto-Bismol jingle, which once again was another internet sensation as people were sharing the video everywhere and the dance, and then there were remakes and remixes and all kinds of different things that came out from that. And I did a little Subway Eat Fresh. That was pretty big when Subway first started expanding their campaign in the early 2000s. I've been on the Quilted Quicker Picker Upper and the Mountain Dew Bohemian Rhapsody theme at the end of that was Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody that aired on the Super Bowl and a few other key TV shows, and once again circulated on the internet quite a bit. That was the I see a little silhouette of a can, Mountain Dew, time to do the slam dango. And
you've done a little bit of acting too, right?
And yes, my acting has appeared in, been in a number of soaps and done under fives on TV, and a couple of appearances, cameos in films like Election. And my acting also extends to the stage. I've done a lot of national tours and some regional sit-downs of some popular musicals. And I'm currently in a show called For the Record, where we take different movie directors and we do songs and scenes from their movies. Tarantino, John Hughes, Baz Luhrmann, Coen Brothers. And now we're starting our fifth in a series, which is Paul Thomas Anderson, Boogie Nights, and Magnolia. Soundtrack songs, not new songs written to make them into musicals, but just literally the scenes and songs from the soundtracks of those movies, which is really cool.
Which brings me to my next question. What current projects are you working on?
Well, that is what's going on right now relative to my live performances. I just completed a year of being the lead singer of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the old school band that sings "What goes up must come down, spinning wheel got to go around." Familiar with them, right? Familiar with that song?
Mm-hmm.
I am putting my own socio-political humor out on my own on my own website, jasonpageshow.com, and my Reverb Nation, reverbnation.com/jasonpage. Just completed a song on Risa Hiroko's record. You know her? You know her? Are you familiar with her?
No, but we have similar names.
What? Oh, right, exactly. She's a Japanese phenomenon. And as you can see, this is her 5-song CD. This 5-song CD has a package that is like a 40-page book. It's got headphones. It's got I mean, this girl she's huge. And I wrote and produced with my partner Russ a song called Lollipop, the hardest word for a Japanese girl to sing. But it's out in Japan right now. I am, what else is going on right now? More session work, more jingles, working on new projects that are being demoed, and but my own socio-political humor is being featured in that recent video that you saw that supports the campaign of Ron Paul by really just informing the public of the actual delegate count, which is not being covered by the mainstream media, which is absurd, because he's actually dominating the delegate process and dominating the whole GOP, the local GOP. The grassroots has basically taken over local GOP offices, and in Nevada as well. There's been a crazy coup that sort of happened. The Ron Paul people got elected to all the positions, the chair positions of the Nevada GOP, and the Romney campaign is setting up a shadow GOP to support him, even and just bypassing the actual elected officials because they don't follow their own rules. Basically, the rules are a certain way. Now, people who are interested in politics are becoming elected to those positions, and the establishment that's funded by Goldman Sachs and all of the big bankers are just bypassing their own establishment. It's crazy in Nevada especially. And the latest video, which is the Mitt in the Mirror. I did sing backgrounds for Michael Jackson, so I have a kind of an understanding of Michael's voice, and I tried to do as close of a sound alike as I could to illustrate Mitt in the Mirror and Mitt Romney's constant flip-flopping and changing his ways, so to speak. Among other various projects going on. I've got a Samsung jingle that's coming out, and that's pretty much it. It's all I can think of at the top of my head.
So now we're going to go ahead and answer some of the questions that my fans have sent in over Twitter and Facebook. The first question is, how does it feel knowing millions of people have heard you sing?
It's quite validating. I mean, I recognize it's an ethereal thing because they're not actually in front of me. I do appreciate the live venue most because I can actually see and hear and touch those people. But to know that potentially hundreds of millions of people for the past 15 years, and we're coming on 15th anniversary of the Pokemon theme song, among other things that I've done, have been touched. And I mean, I remember my childhood filled with the theme songs of the stupid TV shows I was watching. And they never came on 3 times a day. I mean, we were watching Different Strokes and The Facts of Life once or twice a day. But this Pokemon phenomenon extends way beyond TV into products and games and live shows, and it's amazing. It's a great feeling. At the same time, I would like to be in a more live community, and as the internet expands and can incorporate more live streaming, I think that maybe there's an opportunity for me to stream to all those people new material and old material, as I'm sort of doing in this interview, as you're doing.
Hokey Evie Girl asks, what is one of the weirdest experiences he's ever had with a band?
Predating our any of the Pokemon situation, I had a public access cable TV show in New York City called The What's Up Show, which was basically viral videos before the internet. Between 95 and 2000, we filmed over 40 shows on the streets of New York City, skits that would promote our band. So in Manhattan at the time, public access went out to 12 million people in Manhattan only. And there was only 18 channels. We were channel 17 out of 18 every Sunday night at 10 p.m. We put a number, and we got lots of fan mail. And this guy called, and he called the hotline and left a message. He sent a letter, and he also tracked down my personal phone number at home because he recognized where we were filming on the street, and he could see that place. And I don't know I was listed, obviously. So I had a number of conversations with him on the phone, thinking, I have to be careful about the fans because now they're stalking, and now they're actually calling me at home, and he knows where I live. I want to be sure I don't offend him. So it was really polite with him for the first couple of conversations. And at the end of the second conversation, I found out he was like 12 years old, sounding like a full-grown man. I had already developed this relationship with him on the phone in order to protect myself. And when I realized he was 12, I was able to sort of bring him in a little bit closer, and he had then wound up participating in some of our shoots and actually made it into the show in a number of our best of skits. Actually, he made some of the best of moments of the What's Up show, which we're starting to put online now, trickling online as we've now just digitized all 42 episodes, unique episodes that if you do a little research and see them, will realize we were the internet before there was the internet. We were YouTube before there was YouTube. Getting to see the real world in a crazier way that TV would allow on this little public access cable TV show. It predicted sort of the future of our mass media and YouTube right now, and viral videos. I mean, we had the cats falling off of the couch, and the stupid things that would happen were what we were sharing back in the day. So that was a weird thing, because he went from a feared, probably mid-20s obsessive fan to a 12-year-old obsessive fan who eventually worked his way into the show.
Matt Barnett asks, would he do any Pokemon-related work again?
I think so. Pokemon was extreme, or the people who I recorded the music with were very. There was an unfair situation going on with their contract, and it forced me to enter into litigation with them because basically the album contract, which I trusted would be somewhat negotiable, turned out that they wouldn't negotiate on the album contract at all. And the album contract didn't include the millions of videotapes and the toys and everything else that had already existed. So in this litigation, I basically signed an agreement that said they wouldn't use me anymore for anything else, and I would just go away. So I don't anticipate that they'll want me to do that, as they haven't asked me to do anything since then, even though that song still remains the most popular thing in the Pokemon musical history. I think they really lost out by not asking me to do more. And in actuality, I lost out by litigating with them and settling for a sum of money. If I would have taken that horrible, record-breaking, horrible contract based on the amount of success Pokemon had, I would have made more money off of that bad contract than I did in the settlement. So I actually kind of lost out on the financial level, but I made out in terms of the impact that I've had over millions and millions and millions of people. You know, the exposure, and it's only recently that my name has been attached to some of the Pokemon products, as they, don't really want. This is the biggest theme song in the history of cartoons, but there's no actual artist attached to it. There's no face attached to it, and part of that is because of the lawsuit and the unfair treatment that I received back in the day. But it's a small piece of my overall career. I wish it would have amounted in financial compensation to what it is really worth, which is also relative, depending on how much you think the theme song contributed to the overall success of Pokemon. If you think that the theme song contributed 1/1000th of a percentage to the overall from the time it was recorded, which I think is kind of fair, it would probably be about $100 million worth of revenue if it was that tiny of a piece. Of course, it wasn't deemed so, and the revenue was much, much, much less than that. But it taught me in the future to make sure that I don't work for people who don't have my best interests at heart.
Desi Jose asks, could he sing the song in the video?
So it goes. Hold on, I haven't really worked out the dubstep. I want to do a dubstep beatbox version of it. I'm going to get a little bit of it right now. Hold on, I gotta take my gun out. Like no one ever was. To pass them is my real test. To train them in my car. I will travel. It's hard to dubstep and sing at the same time, but let me try it again. I'll be. No, I get the lyrics wrong.
Actually, if you sing anymore, you might get in trouble for copyright infringement.
Oh, really? I just got a notice on my Pokemon Ron Paul on Reverb Nation that there's a copyright infringement claim. which I will have to combat based on parody license. I do still have to pay money for the musical publishing for that as well, but it is a parody license, so I am legally allowed to put it out there, as Weird Al is for all of his work as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure speaking to the man that I have been singing along to my entire life. And if any of you guys want to see his YouTube channel, it is Headless Jason. He's been posting a lot of new songs there and Pokemon parodies, so you should go check it out. They're really funny. There will be a link in the video description, or you can also just click right here, and there will probably be an annotation right there. So thank you for watching, and thanks again to Mr. Jason Paige for agreeing so graciously to this interview, and I hope that he will join us again in the future.